What if I told you you could save less money than your colleague and still retire with the same amount of wealth? Kind of sounds sort of impossible, right? By the end of this episode, you'll discover how Lisa, who initially saves half as much as Mark, could actually have the same level of financial independence using 3 simple wealth decisions that most people overlook. So today we're diving into a financial scenario I think will challenge everything you think you know about saving for retirement. We're going to follow 2 40-year-olds, Lisa and Mark, who both earn $160,000 per year and want to retire at age 65. Mark starts saving $30,000 per year, which is about 18.75% of his income. And Lisa, she only starts saving $15,000 annually at first, which is less than 10%. Conventional wisdom says Mark will retire a lot wealthier, right? Wrong. By implementing 3 strategic decisions, Lisa can actually achieve the same level of financial independence while saving significantly less. And the best part, these 3 strategies are available to anyone listening right now. So let's start with the numbers. Being an aggressive saver, Mark is putting the max into his traditional 401k every year, which is $23,000 in 2025. And then he puts an additional $7,000 into an IRA every year, pre-tax. He gets that immediate tax deduction with his 401k contribution, which feels, really, really good. It's always nice to save money on taxes. But he's unaware of the backdoor Roth strategy, and he puts everything into a traditional IRA. At an 8% annual return over 25 years, Mark will accumulate approximately $2.19 million by age 65. But here's what Mark isn't considering. Every dollar he withdraws in retirement will be taxed as ordinary income. Assuming a 22% tax rate in retirement, Mark's after-tax wealth is really only about $1.71 million. Coming up in just a moment, I'll reveal how Lisa's strategy creates a massive tax advantage that compounds over 25 years. Plus, a psychological trick that makes saving feel a little bit more effortless. But before we get into that, let's reveal wealth decision principle number 1. It's not what you save, it's what you keep after taxes that counts. So Lisa makes her first smart wealth decision by choosing a Roth 401k over a pre-tax traditional 401k. She contributes $15,000 annually, but pays the taxes up front. Why is this brilliant? Because her $15,000 annual Roth contribution, growing at 8% over 25 years, reaches about $1.1 million. But here's the kicker. Every single dollar comes out tax-free in retirement. No taxes on the principal, no taxes on decades of growth, but Lisa's strategy doesn't stop there. She implements her second smart wealth decision by increasing her contributions by just 1% of her salary each year. This is based upon behavioral finance research that shows that gradual increases are barely noticed by creating massive long-term impact. So year 1, she does her $15,000, which is about 9.375% of her $160,000 income. But in year 2, she bumps it up by 1%. So her contribution goes from 9.375 to 10.375, which is about $16,600. And she keeps doing this every single year. So this leads me to wealth decision principle number 2. Small, consistent increases create exponential outcomes. By year 12, Lisa is contributing the maximum to her 401k at $23,000. And the beauty, she never really feels the pinch because the increases are gradual and often coincide with some type of salary increase. This strategy alone adds approximately $420,000 to her nest egg, bringing her total to about $1.5 million, all tax-free. Still coming up is Lisa's third wealth decision that could add another $150,000 to her retirement. Plus, the mindset shift that makes all this possible. So don't go anywhere. So Lisa's third smart wealth decision is once she maxes out her 401k in year 12 by using this 1% increase rule, she implements a backdoor Roth strategy by contributing an additional $7,000 annually. So here's how it works. Lisa makes a non-deductible contribution to a traditional IRA, then immediately converts it to a Roth. Since she's earning $160,000, she's above the income limits for direct Roth IRA contributions. But the backdoor method is perfectly legal, and it's available for all high-income earners. This additional $7,000 annually growing tax-free at 8% for the remaining years until retirement adds approximately $150,000 extra to her wealth. So let's do the final math. Mark, he's an aggressive saver. He's putting away everything in pre-tax accounts in his 401k and IRA, and he reaches about $2.19 million. But Mark really only has $1.7 million after taxes in retirement, considering a 22% tax bracket. But Lisa, being a smart saver and using these three strategies, has about $1.65 million, completely tax-free. But the beauty of this is Lisa saves about $170,000 less over 25 years, but retires with about the same amount of after-tax wealth. Lisa didn't have to stress out about saving 20% because someone told her it's the only way to reach financial independence. She was able to enjoy her life and gradually increase the amount that she saves, which is a lot more realistic for most people. So this leads me to wealth decision principle number 3. Efficiency beats effort when strategy meets discipline. Mark's story was simple: save more, get more. But Lisa's story is a little bit more strategic. Save smarter, not harder. Coming up next, I'll share 3 action steps you can implement this week to start building your own wealth decision strategy to achieve your own version of financial independence. You know, when you look back at Lisa, the real magic wasn't just the tax advantages, it's the psychological framework. When you know you're being really efficient with every dollar, you're more likely to stick with the plan. You know, Mark might get contribution fatigue. For instance, he's saving $30,000 per year. He's having to live a little differently, not do as many things, spend a little bit more frugally, not live in the moment, not live for today. But Lisa builds momentum through small, strategic wealth decisions. The key here is not to get overwhelmed by the amount you think you need to save, but to optimize what you can save. Now think about this. Lisa saves $170,000 less than Mark. Over 25 years, that's money that she could use for emergency fund building, maybe some real estate investments, maybe helping her kids out with college funding, or just enjoying life a little bit more today. You know, she could go on more long weekend trips or bucket list vacations and enjoy her life in the present, but still building wealth for tomorrow with a plan, a smart plan, a strategic plan to reach financial independence without stressing about it so much today. So here's some actionable wealth strategies you can implement today. Number 1, audit your current retirement contributions. Are you using traditional or Roth options? I talked about this in a past episode called 5 Fixable Financial Mistakes, which you can watch on YouTube. I gave a framework based upon what tax bracket you're in. So if you're in the 22% tax bracket or lower, a Roth 401k is all you should do. If you're in the 22 to 32% tax bracket, consider blending the two with a priority towards the Roth 401k option. If you're over 32, especially over the 35% tax bracket, consider doing most of it in pre-tax 401k contributions, but also consider doing a backdoor Roth strategy if you do not have an existing IRA. It's all about kind of balancing tax-free growth with some tax deductions today. If you're in the highest tax bracket, it just might make a little bit more sense to do pre-tax contributions, but always consult a qualified financial advisor to figure out the best strategy for your particular situation. Now, I don't know about you, but I believe tax rates are going to be higher 10, 15, 20 years from now. So it's really tough to plan what your tax rate might be in retirement. We have a pretty good idea, but if you put everything in traditional IRAs or 401ks, you have no control down the road. If tax rates are higher 15, 20, 25 years from now, it's going to make Lisa's plan even that much more beneficial, and Mark's plan even worse. It can be a big mistake having all of your money in traditional 401k and IRA assets that have never been taxed because it gives you no control. And we obviously can't predict where tax rates are going to be, but prioritizing Roth contributions will just give you more tax freedom. Number 2, implement the 1% annual increase strategy. If you're not maxing out your 401k now and you can't put away more than 5% or 10%, set up automatic increases in your 401k and maybe time them with your annual review or your salary increase. And number 3, explore the Backdoor Roth IRA. If your income exceeds the Roth IRA limits, research the Backdoor Roth method. Maybe consult a financial advisor to ensure you do this properly. If you have an existing IRA, The Backdoor Roth strategy has some complications, so make sure you get in touch with a qualified advisor. You know, the beauty of these strategies is they're not about perfection. They're about optimization. You don't need to save like Mark to build wealth. But if you want to achieve financial freedom, which is much different than financial independence, where you have a lot more choices, you may have to put away 25 or 30% of your income to have true financial freedom. But it's tough to balance living for today to have financial freedom sometime down the road. But if you want to achieve financial independence by saving less, you need to save like Lisa, strategically, efficiently, and with a tax code working in your favor. So here's what I'd like you to do right now before you listen to another podcast or scroll through another social media feed. Open your 401k and check whether you're contributing to a pre-tax traditional 401k or a Roth 401k. That one decision could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars over your career and throughout your retirement. Your future self is going to thank you, and you probably won't even notice the difference. So that's it for today's episode, How to Achieve Financial Independence by Saving Less. Next week, we're going to dive into part 2 of this episode to show you what retirement is going to look like for both Lisa and Mark. I'll share with you some of the hidden risks in Mark's plan, having all of his money in pre-tax IRAs and 401ks. So make sure you're subscribed to my channel here on YouTube so you don't miss out on next week's episode. And thanks for listening, and go make a better wealth decision today. And I'd love if you ordered my new book, Momentous Decisions, 7 Steps to Better Health, More Wealth, and a Richer Life. You can find the pre-order link in the description of this podcast. And if you found this information in this video valuable, please share it with a friend, like, subscribe, share it on social media, maybe make a comment. My goal with the Wealth Decisions podcast is to reach over 100,000 people in the Twin Cities and beyond so that people can live a richer life. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.